can hear us. So I just ramble for a second until I see the eye. All right. So, good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And to celebrate this amazing day of ones, I have the beautiful Sharmony with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, everybody. If anyone has any comments or anything that they'd like to have questions or anything like that, please feel free to write in the text, the comment section, and we'll see. We'll try to respond to those. So, hello, Sharmony. How are you today?
Doing great, Pamela. Feeling the sunshine. It is sunny and beautiful here, which is not common right now because it's rainy season. But there's a very powerful energy today, and I'm sure we're all feeling it. I certainly am.
Definitely, definitely.
How
Same
are
here. Actually, we
you?
have a really beautiful day. I was out dancing in the sun just a little bit ago.
I was too. I was
Yeah,
out there
awesome. So, there's just a lot that has been coming through, and Sharmony and I had a conversation the other night, and just led to this. We ought to do this live and have this conversation. And I would like to add something just to put it in there, is that a lot of people maybe know right now where we're at, energetically speaking, is we're here now. There's so much coming in, so much here. And there's a while back, it was during the corridor of the eclipses. We had the solar eclipse and then the lunar eclipse, and that was in October. A lot of downloads and things happened during that time, and we understood at that time. We were told that the 111 corridor was the real corridor, and it was I kind of, there was a lot going on in my land, in my world, and so I didn't really think even to tell anybody about it. But anyway, so then we started. Oh yeah, we're almost here, and that's tomorrow. Um, and just to quickly recap, those who didn't join the live with Elsa and I think it was Elsa and I, we were talking about this, and it's Thor's Day. So Thursday is Thor's Day, and it's Odin's Day, 111, and all of this stuff. And there's been, this corridor has been rapid or accelerated healing for a lot of people. And so, now that we are in this place and in this wonderful space, Sharmany pointed out that today's the day of ones also. Would you like
good.
to explain that?
Oh, yes, just the math. I happen to notice, Mila, that when I added up, today's date is January. So 1 plus 10 plus 2024, 8. When you add all that up and put it to a singularity, it's 1. It's back to the beginning. It's a reset. It's the new. And it's so powerful. It's really amazing. It's amazing we're here. I'm having like a surreal moment because the big part of me is kind of watching from up here and just saying like, oh my gosh, this destiny is being fulfilled right now.
Mm.
This is incredible. This is, yeah, it's awesome. The acceleration, and Mila, when you called me the other night, which you've never done before like that, and we talked for 3.5 hours until 1:11 a.m. my time and 3:30 or something crazy your time. Um, I was sharing with you that you embodying such powerful listening and the reluctance on the part of the human and having to just go from, as Elsa said, oh, text message comes, then suddenly plane on the plane. And you just kept doing it. You just kept going boing, boing, boing. And so I was able to articulate to Mila something that I hadn't recognized at that level until the other night, the phone call, that her taking that action, embodying that, despite the fear, despite the unknown, just saying, fuck it, I'm doing this because I've got to. It's that strong. It lit this fire inside so many of us. And I said, I'm actually feeling, and this is on the call the other night, I'm actually feeling a fire deep down in my womb right now as I speak that. And it's like volcanic, earthquakey. It's like the sun, it's super powerful. And I said, you stepping in, I remember how inspired I felt and still feel. And then you just kept going. So that energy has catapulted us. And I call it super duper uber quantum. screw leaping and jumping. We're way beyond that now. And so, Mila, you have just been incredibly, powerful from such a pure, loving state. And what you've had to do, what you've had to go through, what you've had to endure is astounding. And you're in this amazing place. And I just want to thank you for stepping in and inspiring all of us. And I'm sharing that so we all know it is safe now. It is so time. And we are ready. We are ready. So thank you, Beauty, for setting the momentum, for paving the path, really, because energetically, physically, on every level, you did it. And you're doing it. Yeah. So that just came out, and I just want to say, yeah, that's for all of us, so that we know now that it is time, and we're safe, and we're powerful from within. The pure heart is here, everyone. Time to lead.
Yes. Wow. Thank you for all those beautiful words. I interpreted it as I was doing it was, screw it. You know what? I'm going to be a mess in front of everybody. And I felt like I was falling apart in on lives, and I kind of was, I kept getting that message too, that it was just like, a person, in order to we need to fall completely apart before we can be put back together perfectly. And so many of us have been like barring our truth, and we'll go as deep as we'll talk about shadow work, we'll talk about working with the inner child, though it doesn't, that's the beginning of it. There's that, okay, now that you've worked and you let yourself see you and accept you, now it's time to be you. And like you said, there was also for some time good reason or a reason to conceal self, to pull back and to in some ways hide, but that's no longer the case. In fact, we're being encouraged more than ever, and as a request from spirit, in a way, to shine your light, to let the light be here, and shining your light sometimes looks like, the Walmart dressers, whatever it is. Like, I mean, what I mean by that, just being you, and like letting yourself shine bright, and out loud. And right now is that time. That's why today and tomorrow are, when you talk to spirit, they always, when they point at a time, they point in the middle of like a week or something. It's like, and there's the peak in the middle. And this is the peak now, and technically it's 111 already, because it starts with the first day. And I know in Australia right now it's like 8 o'clock in the morning on 111, or something. I'm probably getting the time wrong, but and so we're already in this energy. And when I woke to a Frank Sinatra song, which I don't tend to, I'm very eclectic with my music taste. I listen to everything. However, I've not heard this song in forever. And it was a song talking about, we're here now. We're in the new earth and we're doing it. And like, it's time, and just joy. And like, I mean, I got out of bed dancing, and, people who know me the past few months, an hour after I wake up, just don't, is usually how it works until then, and that wasn't today. And it's just celebration. And I haven't woke up happy. Usually happy has to be a choice. And it is a choice, by the way, for all y'all that are listening. We can wake up and feel miserable, and then we decide, I'm going to be happy. And it's not denying things that are making us feel unpleasant or unhappy. And when those emotions come in that need to come in, the sadness, the whatever, let it come through so it can get out. And so we can have a clean slate and be in the now, right?
Yes. I love it. What you were talking about, that inner joy, everyone, reminding us that it is an inside job.
Yeah.
Do not worry about the outside. That is not your concern. It is about your inside. Shine that friggin' light. Light it up, baby. You are so bright. You are a sun, a diamond, brilliant, rainbow sun coming back online. You really are. There's a reason why so many of us are attracted to those colors and rainbows and just sparkle and glitter. And, you know, who doesn't love a rainbow? Because there's a recognition that that's you. That's
Right.
you. So it is totally an inside job. Shine from the inside out. The choice thing is beautiful, Mila, because that's been coming up a lot. We finally have a choice, guys. We didn't have that before because we were blocked by design. It was for us to get those deep depths of suffering, but we have crossed that line. We do not need to suffer to grow anymore. Our true nature is to grow through play, joy, orgasmic, cosmic creation,
Yeah.
bliss, ecstasy, energy, just silly, goofy, laughing, wonder, a child, and even beyond a child. You know, there's nothing to explain what this state of purity is. We are embodying it. We are remembering. We are returning. So thank you so much for just reminding us about the choice, because we have it now. So every time these energies are hitting you and you don't feel good, breathe it in. Take a really focused, powerful, deep breath in. And keep breathing until you start to feel a bit lighter. And Pamela, one thing you shared with Elsa was so powerful related to that is when the headaches were happening for you, that was the sign to go quiet. That is the sign to breathe and just be. And they calm down. So it's everything serves us, everything's pushing us. And you know what I got in solstice, all those powerful energies? Every trigger, every pain, every challenge, every despair, every agony is bringing you closer to your God self, to your God spark essence. Wow. Now that means we can get excited. This is a master. This is what a master does, guys. You're a fucking master. So remembering that this is you, this is the new, this is the real, pure, true you returning. You got a choice. Take the breaths. You can ask for it to be turned down wherever it's hurting. Amanda Lawrence spoke about this recently, but you know, you're in charge now. It is from within. You are in charge. And one more thing, hun, the reset. I wanted to, you know, just thank you again for bringing that up too, as to all the ups and downs that we go through, and to really see that they bring us closer to our God self. And I had a massive reset on Sunday. I went to the deep depths of despair. I did not want to be here. And you know what? I sat with it. I felt it fully. I felt relief. I felt free. I just detached from everything. I let go. And I really felt this beauty of, oh my gosh, when I, just for me, describing when I don't care about anything and I'm not so caught up in the good or the bad or the excitement or the, I felt light and I felt free, and I'm changed since then. Then a huge breakthrough came, because that's the way it always works, dear ones. Breakdown, breakthrough. Let the breakdowns happen. Okay, they're necessary to let the light come in, to let that light shine into that wound. And we're changing all this now. But whatever we got to go through, we got to go through. Let's do it. Let's friggin' go for it. We're here. And the forerunners, we are really stepping in. So I experienced this massive reset. I'm definitely changed. I feel lighter and I just feel more free. And it feels really good. I'm balanced. I'm more balanced. So I wanted to share that in case other people are going through it. I mean, I know we all are, because that's what we do, man. That's how we learn. That's how we remember. But we are really here. And people like Mila and me have been feeling this for some time. And now, wow, we're really here, guys. We're really here, because look what we've gone through since just last March, let's say, when there was massive changes. But forget it. How about last week?
I know. I know.
What have I gone through since a couple of days ago? You know, I was, yeah, it's awesome. It's so powerful. So keep going, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if you didn't already get that experience, you will, probably, you know, like I'm finding that, you know, a lot of people will notice it within a short window of time. They'll see a video or someone talking about it and they'll say, I just went through that. Or they'll say doesn't apply to me. And then a day or a week later, then they're in it. So just to, and it's me that has the delay, by the way. So if any, I'm not able to actually see anyone's comments. My technology is going. So I
Mine
can
too.
see only Facebook because I have or I can only see YouTube because I have YouTube in the background. So just so y'all know, if you do want to comment and you want me to answer you, please comment in YouTube. I don't know why it's doing that, but technology's been doing some crazy stuff lately. Um,
Which is
so the
great.
yeah, it's part of this reset. And it's funny to watch myself. I can see myself delayed. So I don't know how y'all hear me, but it's really weird to watch. But and this is not watching myself on YouTube. This is watching us through this. Anyway, um,
Through Restream.
so we are in this reset. We are in this window of, and what is reset? This reset, from what I'm getting about this reset, it's more to do with, so it's like maybe you're a little kiddo and you go out and you play and you go and you jump in the water. It's awesome. And then you play some more and it turns into mud all over your body, and you don't even realize that you're just encumbered, and so the reset is like being rinsed off. It's the idea of leaving density behind, and so a lot of people, get kind of concerned when they hear this word. That's why I wanted to make sure that that got brought up too, is that it's a beautiful reset. It's like a renew and a new again. Here comes a new again, and I, Elsa's languages and everything that happens these days. And so just to elaborate a little bit more too, is that um, we are in a new moon. And what is the new moon? It's when we sow what we will harvest in the full moon, right? And so we're in this place where it's completely blank slate. We're starting, and it's not that. I would even say that a lot of the things that we've learned lead to this week, or probably this month, or probably starting in October, really. But anyway, it has been us leaving behind some of the things we've learned, because they worked for us then when we had training wheels, and now we have a different ability to look at things and see what's really in front of us. So and that's right. That's the time we are in right now. There was something else that you had said that I was so distracted by technology. I wanted to comment on, but I forgot. So I'm giving it back to you, Sharmony.
I was gonna take a moment. Let's all take a moment, actually. Why not take a moment? Let's just be. That's a new way is being. The
Yes.
new way is just be. It's empty, not full of anything.
Yeah. And what's to be? Didn't we talk about be? Be's been a conversation point forever. This being, just be. The bee and the honeycomb and all of these symbols have come through consistently since 2007. And it's not stopped. Recently changed. I was told, I was met by the grandfathers and the grandmothers in the forest, and it was beautiful. And they called me Mila. And when they called me Mila, that was the first time that someone called me a name that I liked, that I felt like was mine. Like my whole life, I've picked different names. I was Randy for a little while. I was Saoirse. I was a lot of different names. I was trying to find what higher vibrations, you know. Um, and so when this occurred, they explained, or I saw, because when you talk to these energies, it's like you're going into a bubble. And when you walk into the bubble, you're in there knowing. And so that's the conversation, is that you just know all those stuff and you forget you don't know it until you leave the bubble. And it's like, wait, I forgot. I wanted to ask, make sure I didn't forget the thing. One of the things that they showed me was the paw of my name, because the father wound just was finally healed. The completion of this father wound that I'd been um, reluctantly healing for so long. And that actually goes exactly back to what I wanted to say. So I was guided to talk about that. Is the fact that there's elements of us that may not feel that beautiful when we're in them, and so we as I mean, if something hurts, we jerk away from it. We pull our body away from pain. We pull every, and this sensation is um, short-lived if we allow ourselves to lean into it, to actually experience it, like Sharmony was saying. Let it come through. And when we let this come through, then we find that it's actually euphoric. When we let the sadness in instead of trying to cope through the moment of it, in my experience, it made it be relieved. And in fact, it was such a euphoric experience that it was almost orgasmic, being depressed for that moment as it moved through my body, being sad, being mournful, it felt good. And it wasn't some weird, like, morbid self-harm kind of thing. It's allowing it to be, and I don't need to control anything about it.
That's
And as it moves through, then we dig the roots of it down into the ground and let the sadness go into Gaia because she wants it. You know what? Emotion is energy in motion. Energy in motion. So who taught us? Somewhere along the lines, all of us seem to have picked up this thing where we're supposed to grab an emotion and own it and keep it forever. When we're doing that, we're stopping its motion. And it will stay because it has a loyalty to us. It wants to help. Oh, you need me. I'll stay. And it stays. And another one, and another one, and another one. Before we know it, we are over encumbered and we have these false anchorings to a reality that isn't even real. It's not even real. When we let ourselves feel it and go through it, on the other side of it, and this is within moments, 5 minutes. Logic says, why was that something that bothered me? We forget why it even bothered us once we let the sensation, it meaning we assigned the emotion to an experience that had occurred previously. All of a sudden, that experience no longer affects us. It's no longer, and we find that, in fact, thinking for so long that we were imprisoned, it turns out we were the warden, the prison guards ourselves, keeping us there. And so to allow yourself to experience it and to release it is really doing yourself a great service. And Carmen was first.
I want to pop in with that, Mila, because that is so powerful. Realizing that we're everything, but as the human, of course, we are disconnected from that. So there's no blaming ourselves like, oh, I trapped myself in this jail. No, your soul, and this is just my take on it, your soul, basically you as soul, which is a much bigger multidimensional aspect or fullness of you, designed everything, the blocks, the parasitic implants, the dark entities, attachments. It's all inverted here. Remember that. This is a grand experiment of separation. So everything's perfect. That's the other thing that me and Mila were sharing the other night on the phone. That remembrance, it comes in its own divine timing. But if you can bring that to the forefront, even in your worst times, this is actually supposed to be happening because it just is. There's no judgment. It's a pureness of the isness of the being state that is not trying to get somewhere else, is not trying to get out of it, not run away, not change it, not fix it. And same with you or the people involved. Now, that's not easy, but it comes with mastery, remembrance, and practice. And that's why we're being hit so hard all these last months, even years, but really accelerating, to just remember that it's always perfect. We're perfect. Nothing's wrong. There will come a time when that will be our default through mastery practice and initiations and remembering, and we'll actually get to relax. That's really the key, is this deep, deep level of relaxation, total and complete, full body, soul, mind, everything just, ah,
Mm,
you know what that does? Then you're free, and your soul, your
yeah.
true divine will, the one that's always been in charge, gets to come through. And you as human get to chill out, relax, and actually play, actually collaborate, actually connect in that way. That's what we're doing. It's incredible. We're embodying this master huge energy, our soul in this incredible physicality. You're incredible. You're a fucking miracle. You made it this far. And, you know, even when you can't find relief in that darkness, because it was hard for me personally, and I carried, you know, planetary darkness. So I want to remind everyone, most likely, especially if you're a way shower, you're carrying a hell of a lot more. It's not you. Okay. It's not your partner and just the two of you or your family or whatever. It's a whole huge thing here.
Yeah.
But just realizing this is what I need to go through and not trying to escape. And even if you do try to escape, that's okay. Like ultimately accepting everything that happens and the perfection. This comes with practice, initiation, these trials and tribulations, which bring us closer to our God source essence, who we really are, that which we are returning to. We're not the body. We're not the emotions. We're not the trauma. We're not our family. We're not the stories. We're not our partner. We're not our pets. We're none of this. Okay. We are the all. We're the everything. All that is and nothing. So just, it's huge. It's huge. You're huge. You're huge in your true essence. So just being with yourself, being kind, taking it easy. And when you lose it, when you go into a puddle of tears, that's exactly what's needed. The way I ended up in my deep despair on Sunday was a trigger with my beautiful divine partner, Sven, my husband. And it's been going on for 15 years since we've been together, this thing. And I realized afterwards it was perfect. And then the deepest knowing of my power, of the fact that for me, I was shown on Monday evening, about an hour or two before Mila was totally strongly guided to call me.
Yeah,
The
that was
fire
fun.
crackled my name. The bear spoke, Brother Bear, right?
Yeah, dude, it was weird.
Amazing. And I just want to say for me, it was this, I saw the after party. I saw all my role players smiling and congratulating me. Sharmony, you did it. You raised yourself to your highest frequency. You realized the game and the play. And now we all get to rise to that highest frequency of all that is and seeing and knowing it all. And now we shake hands. And all the ones that hurt you or stretched you or pushed you or betrayed you, they're there waiting and congratulating you, and it's a big party and celebration. So the fact that I could receive that, and Sven is like my number one role player, because we have really pushed those buttons for each other over the last 15 years and gone through crazy life changes together. It was so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It is amazing.
It is, and it's work. It takes decision, choice, deciding. You know, I'm going to do this. You know, there's been some comments here, and I just wanted to add, Sherry Kitchen says, when it starts to move, become unstuck, it can really hurt. Yeah, it does. It doesn't feel that great because, you know, and we not only we piled it up, but we've gotten out of the habit of experiencing it. And so it feels bigger. It does feel bigger. And we have conditioned ourselves. Whether there was outside conditioning coming in, we then choose. We participate or don't. Most of us, I would say, have participated and just didn't realize there was a choice until recently, you know, and so we're starting to learn that there's a choice. And so as these experiences come in to unpack, yeah, each one needs to be seen. You know, there's this thing that I had done as a child. Many of you know I came from I was a trafficked child between the ages of 4 and, you know, I was 14 and a half when I was able to leave that home in that situation. And I bring up this trauma only to say that it doesn't matter if it's a big trauma, which I had some of them, and or a little trauma, which whatever you want to do. If you're judging it to be big or small, that's all you. It's all the same in my book. It all feels exactly the same. What I did is, it turns out it's called quantum healing. I was 13. I had no idea what it was. The Pleiadians started coming in and guided me to do it. And so I did. What was it? It's experiencing each moment as if it's happening like in fantasy is kind of what people would call that back. If I would have said it back then, it was not fantasy. It's more, it felt kind of like remote viewing through the past, time traveling in a way, because it was real. And go back to those moments and re-experience those moments. The moments that we ignore and deny and don't want to see and don't want to look at. We want to talk about what it made us feel like and stuff like that, but we don't talk about the actual event, the thing. And this is the place that our soul is fragmented to. We've heard about we've had fragment. We want to bring all of our fragments back to ourselves. So the the thing that I was doing, especially at the beginning, was I was coming in as a different person. I was coming in as an adulter version of me, and stopping the event. I was changing the story and empowering myself, and then finding that child that was me and comforting her, and telling her she's awesome, because no one ever did back then, And so, and I used the same negative talk to myself that I would repeat, parrot back what I would hear. Anyway, and then after a while, I started to go and re-experience those moments as myself in those moments, and taking back my power. Sometimes I was rather violent in this imaginary place. Um, and I would replay the same moment more than once on some occasions because it wasn't done. This does sound more like morbid reflection. That's not the intention. It depends on it, what your intention is going into something is what colors the experience. Um, and I started to do this a little bit at a time, here and there. And after a while, it became a nightly activity. I would do this every night. Um, each one of those moments that I re-experienced, I recollected self. I recollected myself. I recalled myself to myself, these fragments, these parts. And it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be in whatever emotion it is. I would say most people don't know what their trauma is. Most people don't have the ability to do what I'm talking about. But those who do, where I would start, we find that the bigger the trauma, the louder it gets in the room, so the other things can't be seen. And so when we start this activity, we find after a time that there's what you would call smaller and smaller things being able to be heard. Lastly, if you don't have these experiences in memory to recall to, allowing yourself to just experience it, whatever the emotion is that's coming through, and to not judge. You don't have to know where it came from. You don't have to know why. You don't have to own any of it. All you have to do is say goodbye. Thank you for serving me. You brought me to this place and have brought in so many beautiful things. They are servants to us. As you had mentioned, we made these choices. I remember picking my trauma. It happened. It happens regularly, and so as we pick this up, then we're able to, then as we heal through it, rather, then we're able to lighten the load of those around us who have identical or similar difficulties, and then they can too start to look at these elements of trauma that need the healing. And right now is the best time to do it. Right now, the accelerated healing window is at a close, which is awesome. So now it's squishy love light, and it's like bouncing on bubbles and play like the world is jello, and do whatever it is that's correct for you, honoring yourself and not having to wonder why, you know, and to let it move so you don't have to be in that place anymore.
I love that. And Pamela, sorry, Mila, you have shared something very powerful that when you crossed over in your NDEs, they were not interested in the bliss experience because that's all that's available up there. They wanted to know the nastiest, most agonizing, horrendous suffering and pain because that's what they don't get. And honestly, remembering that the human is the hero, you are this incredible, multifaceted diamond. You're a fractal of source. You are a fragmented soul that's coming back to unity through feeling and healing, not needing to know where, because it could be mass. I mean, it is massive, it's collective, it's planetary, it's going back lifetimes, it's ancestral, it's familial. So really,
Mhm.
For my own personal experience, I don't concern myself with where it's coming from unless you're able to, like Mila's able to. Just feeling it and reminding myself in the worst agony, this is what I need to go through. This is actually by design. Nothing is my fault as the human. This is perfectly serving all. This is serving source. This is serving all in this holographic game for me to return to myself so that I can free myself at that highest level and really embody. That means knowing and feeling and being that pure gnosis, that, oh my gosh, everything can discharge. These emotions will neutralize in divine time. It will happen. We're supported now more than ever. And this is a threshold we're at. You know, the reset for me also involves a lot of deaths and rebirths. Letting the old parts of me die, letting my patterns die, the way I looked at things, the way I thought I knew things, the way I was stuck in perspectives of looking at situations, or even things I've learned in spiritual awakening. Let all that shit go. Let it all go. Fly into the wind and just be this purity. And by being that, your soul, the real you, the big your God spark, your God essence that you truly are, comes through. And it talks to you, it gives you visions, you have feelings. And the other thing with that is how unique we all are. So there's a lot of falsities, as we know, and it's all coming to light now. All is revealed. Yay, the age of truth finally, in the spiritual realm as well. And that is these ideas that we all have to do it like this, or hey, you got to get silent, you got to go. And I tried. I did crazy things, and I ended up in horrible situations, like going to a remote island for a month in the winter, and all the power got knocked out. Just scary, scary stuff. I was totally isolated. It was terrifying. And that's where I learned, that I had to breathe. I had to feel this terror. And there was things that happened that were frightening too. But honestly, it took me for a ride because I didn't have the ability to ground at that time. But just really understanding that we're all unique. So when I finally recognized that just recently, like my deep gnosis comes when I'm walking in my hallway here, or, Sven just got a bunch of incredible energetic wisdom and remembrances in the shower after our big, trigger. And it left him ecstatic. He just remembered he's a master. I'm a master. And we are on this journey and we are remembering, we are learning. And he just came out going, oh my gosh, this just came through. And that couldn't have come through if we hadn't had the trigger. And he wrote an incredible poem that was so simple. And, I posted on my YouTube. But anyway, it just speaks to the fact this is all by design. Everybody's my brother and sister. It's all me. There's really only one here split playing a game, and that everything will be shown, all will be shown. So in realizing your uniqueness, because myself, I didn't learn in silence. I kept waiting for my silence to come. I had periods of where I'd zone out, whatever, but usually when I zone out, I'm just empty. Nothing came in. But they came in while I was doing things, and these incredible, deep remembrances came in when I was moving and active. So that made me realize, why am I beating myself up? Why am I trying to force myself to be silent and do crazy things to get there? And look what's happened as a result. Nothing is wrong, but you realize, wait a minute, I'm unique. Whatever way I'm doing it is fucking right for me, is right for me. And that's the power. You're no longer judging yourself, beating yourself up. There you go. There's the war. The inner war is what creates your outer war. Your inner states of tension, of pressure cooker, slave driver, beating up, all of these things, not good enough, is creating your external reality. And so that piece has to come from within. It's an inside job, realizing I'm a unique fractal of source. And what you do, your design, is so valuable. Everybody's is equal. Everybody's is equal here. All of it's needed. And so when you realize that, you are pristine, you really are. And so there's nothing wrong. And even in loops, because I found myself, why is this trauma still looping? For example,
Yeah.
between Sven and I, and I tried so much, but we had to go through what we had to go through. And now on the other side, as Mila and all of us, experience, it goes so fast, when you're you're looking back on last 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, right? Life does go by fast in this time dimension, which we're also quantum catapulting out of. So just recognizing that everything serves, the looping serves. Your human mind is not going to figure out why the hell it's still continuing despite your best efforts. You just have to come to a place where you change that perspective. Every time I have a trigger, a discomfort, I'm getting closer to my God self. I am becoming my mastery through this initiation, through this practice. So recognizing your unique beauty, don't let anyone tell you how the hell to do this, what to eat, where to be, how to go. Please. I tried so many things, and my greatest freedom is what felt horrible. I wasn't allowed to fall into any pattern, any modality, any way of being. So I just wanted to be this practitioner, and then I could say, well, this is what I do, and look, I'm blah blah. But no, the uniqueness would not allow me. And now we're in the place where your uniqueness is open and being shown to you. So trust yourself, trust your soul self, and just know that you are perfect. You cannot be anything else, and it cannot be any other way than what is unfolding. And in that acceptance comes a lightning. You raise your vibration, you relax, you let go, and then things can get smoother. It doesn't mean the challenges aren't there. It means you can handle it better. It means that wait, this is bringing me closer to my God spark. My mastery is returning. And this is really accelerated right now. The gifts and the remembrances and the connections, it's awesome. So we're really, really in this magical place. That was the other thing. Magic.
Yeah.
The magic is everywhere. The dragons came in. I'm not a dragon person. I never
Yeah.
related to dragons. When I first heard about dragons a few years ago in a group, I was like, what? What is that? Yeah, they came in. And it was so incredible. I felt so much excitement. And this was before my despair thing. It was a few days before. It shocked me. Source Diamond Dragon. It was an energy. I was shown some visions, but it was really an energy coming in. I felt very high. I was in nature when all this suddenly started happening to me. And later, that energy told me, look for the magic in everything. This is how you change your creality. You don't look to the outside. Why is it not changing? Why is, nothing that different? Or why is, my life, the magic that I felt, this really rainbow sparkle world, I was kind of getting frustrated. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is it taking so long? And so when I had Source Diamond Dragon come in, it shocked me, and I was filled with excitement. And then the guidance to look for the magic, it's there in the most, I can't even use the word mundane, because nothing is mundane. Everything is extraordinary when you change your perspective and you start to realize there is magic everywhere.
Yeah.
You become the magic. You become the paradise. You become that world that you want. It is first inside. You must find the magic. You must make the choice to look for that joy, look for that, feel the pain. Do not ever run from it. Those are the most powerful things. And that's what they want to know on the other side, as Mila has powerfully shared. But look for the magic. It is everywhere, especially now. And it's not going to come from outside. Nothing is.
Yes.
There's no one out there. There's nothing really out there. It's all illusion. Even though this whole thing is a play, the most real thing is inside you. Find the rubies and diamonds and sparkle inside you.
Yeah.
And just grow that. And then it will change. It has to, because you are the source. You are the origin of your creality. And there also with that is the play. You know, we will go through our challenges, but can we play more? Can we laugh more? Can we look at things 4444 on the video? Wow. And when you were, yeah, when you were sharing something profound, I saw 2222. So that's the thing. But
They're four, the time of fours.
time of fours, I forgot. So play. We got to play. If you want a playful world, if you want a light, sparkly, joyful, free world, you got to free yourself. You got to find it in you. You got it. You're the key. And last thing I saw in this vision when I was talking to Pamela the other night, I saw that as I raise my vibration, this key literally ignites in me. And this blast of energy came out of diamond pure source energy. And that changes my reality. Nothing is too much, everyone. There are no fucking limits. I look at people externally and I get a bit frustrated, and then I realize, let it go. They're my role players. Those are my teachers. I got to believe in me. I got to know thy true soul self. Beyond belief is knowing. I got to know me, and I know Rainbow Sparkle World, and I know oneness, and I know unity, and I'm not fucking stopping till I get there, till I become. And I'm not going to let anyone tell me, well, no, we got 10 years of tribulations. No, we got to clean up the oceans. We got to plant trees. We got to do med beds. We got to do that. I'm like, I started to feel like, oh my God, well, how the hell is Rainbow Sparkle World that I know? You know, this is me. This is my soul. For years, I'm getting these visions. Now I know more than ever. So I had to really know thy true soul self. And I said, oh, Sharmony, let all those people go. Let them be them. I'm happy. And those are my role players. They're going to be waiting for me when I finally catapult, and they're high-fiving me. Girl, you did it. So I just want to share that with you. Know you. Your goddamn dream is inside of you. Thank you, Mila.
You are the dream. Exactly. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. There, you brought up a bunch of different points. I'm not sure which direction to take this yet because it can go different ways, but I'm going to say this one. The Rainbow Woman. Let's tell this story about the Rainbow Woman because you brought this up. I don't know if you noticed that you brought it up. We're talking about having miracles and how miracles come, you know, and there's a lot of different types of miracles. So we'll look at a miracle in a biblical sense, and it's like the burning bush, you know, or the whatever, the seas part, and these types of things that are pretty big, you know, and on the outside. And this, what I mean by on the outside is for a group of people in witness of it. And then there are the miracles that are smaller, that seem they are very profound to the one in the moment of this miracle. You know, experiences like finding yourself, which happened to me, being I actually was forced off of the road on the way up here by a distracted driver, and all of a sudden there was a Mack truck in front of me. Like literally, he didn't even have time to not. He didn't even have time to honk. I mean, we were, and the steering wheel pulled inside my hands that way, and then did it again the other way and lined me up. I and that's one of these kinds of miracles. This is the one I wanted to say, and I knew that is also something amazing that happened. Was where I am right now. So there are a lot of different, you know, teachings and belief systems and all this stuff, and I've always resonated more with the Native American spiritual way, you know, and I come from a line that I don't tend to try to point it out too much because it's like, look at me, but my grandfather and in his heritage and this whole Navajo and the stories of the Navajo and the Hopi, because that's where I lived and just that's where I spent the bulk of my life. Anyway, so we talk about the Rainbow Warriors, the Rainbow Tribe. We're here now. We're in this time. We're in this time of this rainbow. And what is the Rainbow Tribe? It's people from all walks of life. Not simply, it has nothing to do with race isn't real. You know, it's not talking about that. It's talking about the colors of your spectrum, of how you're bringing in what Rainbow Sparkles over here talks about, right? You know, you're these, we are all a resonance of whatever we present that comes through as a color. You know, people know about this. They talk about auras and things like this, you know, so we bring, and it doesn't always stay the same. People I just got my aura red. I'm this color. And it's like, well, you know, right then you were, And that's awesome. That's probably correct. We change and shift based in the moments that we're in. So, the end of the story that I've always known about, I didn't know where it was at. I didn't know. I knew about the Rainbow Cave, and I knew that we would be there. And I knew that it was like, so the Rainbow Cave is made out of completely crystals. Like it's ceiling, floor, walls, crystals. And I've seen it multiple times. I've been guided to go there in remote viewing. I still don't know where I'm at in a lot of the remote viewing that I've been prompted to do. And I find myself there in the physical. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was in a different country. I'm just, anyway. So I'm in meditation and I awake with this word in my mouth that I needed to say, and but my tongue didn't want to do it. It was twisted somehow. You know how you just can't say a word because it's when it's said up here, and I don't know how to roll my tongue very well, and so that might be part of my brain thing. But anyway, then only a few hours, 3 hours later, yes, the crystal cave, but we call it the Rainbow Cave when I was taught the story. So I find that fascinating because it shows you how it's linked to all of this other. So this is the end of the prophecy, by the way. The end of the prophecy is the beginning of a new. And this prophecy tells us that the rainbow woman will then show. Okay, there are 4 caves. They're very sacred and important caves, and they are in perfect alignment. And we're in the center. We're off a little bit, but we're in the center. And where we are is perfect alignment for the total solar eclipse. It's going to happen in April. And a lot of people are coming here for this event. While all of these people are here during this great awakening, the rainbow woman shows, and I don't know if it's that moment, but I feel like everybody coming to this is part of this. It's not just me and my event. I'm not talking about that specifically. The whole area around here, um, is they're actually price gouging on the hotels because people from all over the planet want to be on this mountain during the eclipse. She's to show people the Rainbow Cave. And in the Rainbow Cave, we were taught what is left behind by the star people. And the star people teach us in this cave, what's left behind, how to communicate, how to speak with all places, all energies, with God, with oneness, with all things. And this, I didn't know any of this was here. I didn't know until I asked, or someone else brought it up 3 hours later and said, we need to go and check out Manitoka. I don't even know if I said it right. Um, and then it was connected to Rainbow Woman and the whole story, and that we're here, and I didn't have any idea. I just knew I was supposed to come here, and that we were going to activate this beautiful crystal mountain for this time. Why did that come up just now? Is that in the days of the native people, where there wasn't before, pre European invasion, or however, I don't even know what history is correct and what is anymore. Um, People from all places would come here, pioneer to this area, to this greater area. And there's these springs, these hot springs, and there's just a lot of stuff about it. The Mayan would come as well every so many years. I think the Mayans came every 11 years because it took them like 8 months to walk here. And like some would come here every 7 years, and some areas would come here annually if they were local enough. The miracles that are spoken of this story, of these migrations that happened all so frequently, is that then there would be circles of people. The elder men would gather in their own language, here and over here. And we actually have a path of the circle of surround the social circles. There's large boulder stones in a circle, and then over here is another one. The miracle of what would happen is that each of these groups, they would speak their own language, and they would sing their own songs, and you would hear some song from the Cree and some song from the Mohawk, and you'd hear, and then the miracle would happen. All of a sudden, everyone would start singing the same song, words that they didn't know the language for. They didn't know. It was light language, in my opinion, but they would start to sing. And that was the miracle of why they would come. It would balance everyone. And there was no longer separation. There was no longer you're Sharmony, I'm Mila. There's us, we. The answer is we. And so, and that is, and the story I was listening to, this elder speaking of this story, he called these the real miracles. And you brought up these smaller miracles that we have in our day-to-day lives that we may not even recognize as a miracle in the moment of them. And this is really the true miracles. I find that all things in spirit are meant to be gradual. And I ask over and over the years, and they've always answered back, things that are rapid do not last. If you want it to be long lasting, it needs to be a gradual thing. And I know that most of you are like me. You want to rip that band aid off. You don't want to do one hair at a time. Come on, you know?
Yeah.
But if we don't do it one hair at a time, there will be a lot of hairs missed, you know, and so all things are meant to be gradual. So the nature of the types of miracles we're talking back about, look back. Like Sharmony said, look back. Look back to last March. That's a great one. I just got a download a few weeks ago or something. What they said was, if you think last March was cool, like, and like all of a sudden this swelling, exciting energy. And I was like, whoop, whoop, you know, and then all of a sudden I found out there's like 3 eclipses in like 2-week period at the end of March into April. One of them we're in the middle of, and like just all this stuff. And so, um, and then lastly, we are moving into the space of fours, the space of fours, the quadrinity. And a lot of us understand and know what this Trinity stuff is. And yeah, it's very important. It's important for us to, for a lot of different reasons, to see self and to be in that self and know that it is true. They've been showing us that 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12. That's why we're merging in the 12 to get from over here in the Trinity to the quadrinity. Simultaneously, the 4 giants. I don't have my map behind me. I should probably put it on. I have this map that shows you. It looks kind of like this. It's a whole bunch of rings though, like around each other, and in the center there's a ice wall, the ice caps, and there's 4 holes, openings, spaces. These are where the 4 giants have been standing. And now they're slowly rising. And as they rise, there's displacement in the water. Simultaneously, this entire ring is melting. This ice wall is melting. So it's kind of like changing our ocean and the pH of the ocean. Did you know that we're going to return back to pure water? It's so cool. So here we are. It's really cool. And that's the parts that you brought up while you were talking that I needed to mention. So thank you for bringing those things up.
I love it. This is so divine flow. Pamela and I agreed, and no scripting. You know, the real way is just spontaneous soul flow and being organic and trusting the bigger part of us,
Yeah.
that whatever needs to be said or shared in this moment, which is based on the current energies in this now, is perfect and will come through. So I love that. I didn't even realize I was going to say any of that, plus that it would remind you to speak of Rainbow Woman and the whole prophecy. So it's incredible, because the other part of that is really remembering, if there's no limits, and you all know that that's what's said, and that's what we know that there's no limits. You are boundless, everything. So why are we limiting ourselves in any way, shape, or form with our visions and what we hold? Why are we stuck on the inverted? And this is just the question that I came to ask myself as I was like, why isn't anyone else talking about Rainbow Sparkle World? Damn it. And like, see these incredible crystalline rainbow forests and seas, and I'm flying and we're shape-shifting, and giant winged ones with huge rainbow wings come and take us, but we also have our own wings, and then we change into water beings and we're flying through the water. I mean, I see and feel incredible things, and I know that's just the tip of the iceberg. So there was a frustration for me. I was sharing with Mila on our call a couple of nights ago that there was a little bit of like, I don't know what the word is. Was it confusion? Was it doubt, frustration? Probably a bit of all of that has been coming up lately. And I'm like, man, people that I kind of look up to are talking about tribulations for years. Other people are talking about making everyone wealthy or crypto. And I'm like, that just is, for me personally, repulsive, because where I come from, and I'm sharing this because if you're listening, you're here, you're open to this, you're part of this, there is no exchange. Exchange is from lack. Okay, exchange is survival energy. We are transcending, we are alchemizing, we are renewing, returning, re-beginning, resetting to the truth that you are source, you self-source. There is no survival in unity consciousness. If you didn't know that, you know it now. Okay, it does not exist. There is only being and playing. Freedom. There's no rent. There's no goddamn businesses. Like, I could not relate to this, and I used to beat myself up. And I felt like a loser. I couldn't fit in until I saw myself, which wasn't that long ago. And Soul told me about the healing eagle analogy, which is, Sharmony, the healing eagle flies where it flies, and it already has agreements on a soul level and knows who it's to connect with and heal. The minute you trap that eagle and put it in a cage and start booking appointments and start charging and telling it, okay, eagle, at 9 a.m. you have a family, at noon you got a couple to help with you. I mean, come on. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that as a transition and part of the experience that we need for the inversion. Okay, but moving forward, and it's just what I hold. This is why I'm sharing, for you to believe and to know your true soul self. What do you hold? What do you hold? If there's no limits, what's inside of you, man?
Yeah.
Woman, everyone, you know, and to really understand that you have to flow with you. So I had this, I'm like, yeah, you know, these business models, it's all great, med bed's great, clean up there. But I saw this is a limited way of looking at things and being, because true limitlessness knows this is the inversion. And we don't have to fix all this shit and be stuck in it for more decades or hundreds of years or whatever the craziness is. We are here to catapult. The forerunners who hold the unity consciousness are from the future where we are one. Okay, there's no exchange. We're free. We literally play. It's your soul design just comes through your heart as your being. And so that's where I know I come from, and I got tested a lot, and I had to suffer for like a decade and a half, where I felt like something was wrong with me, even though I helped thousands of people in pure spontaneous soul flow. And I did try, you know, the clinic thing and business, and it just felt so gross. And I was like, ew, like after a few times, it wasn't me. So again, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that as part of the learning and growth here. But what I'm saying, moving forward, none of this shit. There's none of this. There's no need for money. As the light being told Mila on August 31st, when it came out of the blue and she went outside at 11 o'clock at night, everything is free. Everything is free. That's unity consciousness, is true freedom. So I want you to start imagining a world where you don't have to do survival. You don't have to do a job. You don't have to have a shelter, food, nothing. We are the technology. There is like things you've seen in Star Trek beyond that. The replicator. If you want cheesecake, you want chocolate, you want the best burger, you know, no one's got to die. No one's got to suffer for that shit. It just crystallizes, literally. You just create it through your thoughts and you get to enjoy it. Okay, there's no suffering and pain. And there's just this massive dance with the soul songs, the soul tones, the soul music, the soul colors. You recognize the other souls from your monad, which is just your frequency. It's just part of who you came to play with. and you get to play with those beings in whatever way in the moment, and there's no ownership, there's no jealousy, there's nothing. It's all divine innocence. There's a purity and there's an ecstasy. So as humans, we've
Yeah.
never known that to be possible. We are the orgasmic energy. And this is not
Yeah.
like this physical idea of orgasm is actually the lowest level of this energy. Imagine every bit of your skin sparkling in gemstone. This is your light body for me. Your hair, everything can shapeshift, change in a moment. And you are filled with this tingling, and this orgasmic energy is just your being. This is normal. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that, thank you, Mila, because I know Mila experiences that. And I just got to share, I'm not a drawer at all, okay, at all. And you can see from these drawings, but I just was opened up a cheap, pad from the dollar store, and I bought cheap crayons, and I just look what I drew. And I'll tell you, I remember drawing this. It was probably 6 months ago, and I thought this is stupid. I'm making a mistake. Like what? And I started with this. I didn't even know it was a diamond. And at the end, I put a heart. And I showed this to Mila in a call we had, and I told her how I had to change my YouTube name from Unity Harmony. Just that felt right at the time. It rhymes with Sharmony, but to Diamond Heart. And she saw this. She goes, "That's your diamond heart. Your diamond chakra is open above your head." And I just want to show you, this is the kind of magic that we all hold. Okay, look at this. This is the diamond sparkle rainbow universe, the eye that sees all. This is a cosmic quantum catapulting. Okay, and I did this after the other drawing, and these take like 5 minutes. As you can see, I don't spend a lot of time. And then
Beautiful.
crop circles started showing up. That was this, the eye. Okay. So I'm telling you, because I haven't really seen anyone in my creality talk about the things that I talk about, Rainbow Sparkle World, and talk about these visions that I've had for years, I've had to really dig into myself. And I share that because that's what Mila's had to do too. That's how you arrive. This thing, this whole game, this whole journey is about you becoming one with you, which is why I've always said, you're the one. You're the goddamn one. You're Neo. Okay, Neo didn't know
Yes.
he was the one, but he recognized, he finally, under pressure, when he was going to die, when he was shot by Agent Smith and he was going all silver and metallic, he had to dig deep. And in that moment, he found his diamond light body. And all that stuff dissolved, and then the light just blew up, and he blew up, and he blew Agent Smith right out of the water, right? So that's what we're doing. When you realize you're the fucking one, you really are for you. There's a huge you here. There's a huge you, a multi-dimensional, fully whole, unified you. That's what you're doing through this journey, remembering, renewing that. Anything is possible. And even I want to plant this seed, creating things out of thin air. Okay.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's totally possible. Nothing is impossible. Okay. Fucking nothing. So please, people, please do yourself the greatest honor and open your heart to this. You must catapult. If you want that world, it's in you, then do not pay attention to the other things outside of you and those that are speaking about these little piddly steps. We have to fix this and we got to do this and no. My dream, my soul dream, what's inside me is a quadrillion billion times bigger. I just said quad because I'm guessing 4 quadrillion. I was like, I've never said that word. Bigger than anything that exists here. So just know that there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. There's only to put the energy, the time, the love, and the beingness into you. That's what I was shown. That vision 2 nights ago was all my role players going, girl, welcome to the party. You finally got it. You got that it was you. You got that you become one with you and you. Boom. So, I feel different since then. And it was after my despair and wanting to check out and feeling all that and being with it. And that was a death. Okay. There's a lot of deaths on the journey because we have to die the old us, this personality, this thing that looks at others and thinks, oh no, okay, well, they're saying it's going to be years in this way. So I gotta believe that, but it doesn't feel right inside. I
Yeah.
remember when I wished I could just be like, yes, I want to join so and so's movement. And then it would be so easy to plant trees and do this and do
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's not what I came for. I'm like, ew, I don't want to grow my own goddamn food. I'm just going to be really honest because I know that we can create anything. We are the technology. We're crystal, dilithium, beyond, diamond, rainbow rays. I mean, this is limitless, okay? No limits. Really think about, really feel, what does that mean? What could
Yeah.
that look like? Allow your childlike wonder and imagination to burst forth. Start drawing with no idea of what you're going to draw. Start playing more. Start watching. Oh, watch The Last Dragon if you haven't seen it. I told Mila to watch that with Maddie because what a beautiful movie. It is actually the story of humanity's fall and our
Mhm.
ascension. And it is so glorious. And the dragons, especially the ending scenes, are so beautiful. But I
Yeah.
was wishing for movies that show me this rainbow sparkle that I have and that I feel. And I search YouTube and I search, and they're kitty things. And I find little bits, but nothing that shows what I feel inside and what I've seen through my third eye and my inner visions. So I just share that to inspire you because you got this too, man. We all do, every single one of us. So what's your paradise? What's your real?
Exactly.
Thank you,
Sorry, I didn't mean
sweetie.
to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, no, it's perfect. Exactly, sister. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, and to just highlight what you said too, or just to echo back, I 100% is the higher frequency I go, it is orgasmic there. Is the best, the closest thing we have to compare it to. The odd thing is that you get used to it really fast. It becomes, the novelty wears off really fast. Your first thought is, well, if this is what it feels like to be at this frequency, I'm never going to get the dishes done. You know what I mean? And then it's like it's regular. That's what it feels like to be happy in this frequency, is to be in space like this. You said,
111.44. Sorry.
what was that? Oh yeah, hey, we've been going for
It was 111 when you were speaking of all that. Amazing. I was watching the numbers. Yeah.
cool. There's something to add. You reminded me of a lesson that I didn't understand I was learning. I didn't understand the lesson of it.
Wow.
Professor Maddie, again, and I brought it up in a show or two. She came in and she said, when a crab looks up and sees a fish swimming, he thinks that the fish is flying. And she wandered on again. And I was just like, that's really interesting. Then you just said, when you were telling your story about Neo, because we are the chosen ones. In fact, even in the Bible, we're called the chosen ones. Some versions say that. In the book of Matthew, it's talking about this time. You will hear rumors of war. You will hear rumors of famine, of plague. These things will not affect you. Though many people today, especially, are feeling this echo. Just so you all know, that's what you're feeling. Most people, that's what's happening. Um, and there's also, like I said, some of us feel the reset here, and then the next day or the next week that more people will feel it. It's just kind of how it works. Um, anyway, this water, you brought up the water. Um, and also in that book, part of the book of Matthew talks about the speeding up of time. The days will speed up for the chosen ones to spare us, basically. And boy, has it, man, that I kept getting a few weeks ago. It started to come in right after the new year. It was like, it's 2025. And all these other people are getting it too. So it's like we did have enough stuff that happened in this last year that it really could have been. I keep going around, but I wanted to point out the fact that energy, where we are, how it is around us and with us, as whether or not we are literally in water, that's a whole thing. but is water. It's like water. And so if you notice, if you put a drop of food coloring in water, then it
Mm.
disperses and it's shared immediately. Burdens are shared as well as celebrations, as well as victories and successes. These things are shared. We're all in the same pool. I mean, some people are peeing in this pool. You know what I mean? And but most of these energies that are here in this pool with us that we maybe don't perceive or see in the way that others might, um, it's really in this. They're right here. They're right here sharing this space with us. They're part of this water with us. It does look like that because when you move through it, you kind of see the bend of these different. It looks like a cobwebby that goes in every direction, and we have every hair on our body is connected to somebody. It's just how it is. It's crazy and awesome. And so when we move, we see it bend, kind of like they try to show these examples of space that are their decision of showing us that that's how things work. I don't resonate with a lot of that stuff.
So big.
Anyway, so if you understand where we are, that we're really basically in a big ocean that's can be turbulent at times. It can be calm at times. It's easier to see through it sometimes. And other times it's murky. There's all of this different stuff that it doesn't mean this is going to forever too. If you're having a moment where it is kind of a little bit more chaotic, we're also noticing that when that happens, when the waves move the hardest, they reveal the things that were covered up by the sands. They clear things out and they release things that don't serve us any longer. um, and where we are right now in this frequency. So you talked about Germany, people saying that there's like these, it's going to be down the road, and there's this and this and this. And there was a time in my life where I was told different dates. And then later on, I was told another date. And I was energy of spirit telling me these different years. It was a year. And the last time I checked in, I decided not to check in on that anymore. The last time I checked in, we were so ahead of schedule that we were at where we were planning to be in 2050. And that was before I left Washington. And that happened back in the end of October, 1st of November, actually. Um, anyway, so all of that in, our here now is also called a bridge. We could also call it, if you wanted to, visually, it's a little easier to comprehend sometimes, a stairway. That each step isn't hard either. It's simply allowing yourself to go to that step. And how do you go to that step? By acknowledging that some of the things that we use as identifiers for this existence no longer serve us, or maybe weren't even real.
Mm.
And you don't have to feel bad, shame, what, I can't believe I believe that. It doesn't matter. There's no us in them. There's nobody who's more spiritual. There's nobody who's higher frequency. Higher vibrations is all of you. That's why I always say, and so are you. We are. I am the I am, and we are. All of us. And so if we can allow ourselves to realize our own power, and that that's not putting ourselves ahead or above someone else, that it's you are powerful, you are mighty, and we are many. And right now it is time. Each step we step up, we're leaving something else behind, something else that we thought was important. I thought for the longest time it was important to carry around a bunch of shit, a bunch of stuff, materialistic
Yeah.
bullshit that I didn't even know why it was important. It just was important, and um, we left with 3 suitcases in a box, 2 boxes. One had my computer in it, and left everything. I had a storage unit. I did the world, None of those things served me. And I got to say goodbye to each thing, and that was very healing and purging. This example is being brought forward because we do the same thing with all these other parts of us. This was easier to point at because it's more physical. This is something I'm giving away. This is something else I'm giving away. We're doing this here too. They talk about getting it off your chest. They talk about, expressing yourself. What is express? It's to release, to purge, to set into motion. This is your breastplate is a really high frequency sacred geometry plate. And it reads like that. You can see it, these ghostly, awesome colors of geometry move and do this thing. When there's too many things piled up here, then it's more difficult to move through that. This is where we usually put our trauma, especially when it comes to low self-worth talk, low self-worth belief systems, limiting. Limiting is a really good word. And people were saying it in the chat while you were talking, by the way, before, when you were talking about all this limit. And as we remove these things, we realize our association to them. Most of the experience of the average American, or as because I'm here, you're in the Americas too, so you count. You're also, because you're Canadian, but that's America.
Yeah.
Is that, or wherever you're tuning in from, the experience is, this is what it's like to be me. Well, do you need a Starbucks coffee on your way to work? Then that's one thing they purge. Do we need to have, these types of things that we think we need? I need to be able to pay for these subscriptions, and you don't realize how many monthly subscriptions come out of your card every month. You don't look at maybe, and all of these different things. When we purge these links and these associations, this is another physical manifestation. Is what I'm trying to show, is that then we uninvest and we choose to no longer participate in that system. What's a system? A system is a breaking system. All things are breaking. And just like you were saying, we don't have to go do some type of heroic act. You're already doing it. We're not here to reforest the forest. We're asked to go to the forest and maybe to talk to the trees. We're not being asked to liberate any one body. We are simply being asked to acknowledge self in true form. When you're at your happiest, when you're at your most blissful state, what is it that you're doing? Playing. How do you play? Some people play, their kind of play is with a calculator. I've seen this. It's really fun to watch that person at play. Some people at play is, I like to play in the garden. I am that person. And there's no judgment against anyone who's not or is. It's just everyone has their beautiful, fun place to be, and my play is also running around with the kids or chasing the chickens, or whatever it is that we're doing, driving the tractor and singing E-I-E-I-O to myself, like, by the way, it starts spreading the news. We are here today. We are, should I sing it? I don't want to sing it. No, I'm not going to. No. But somebody asked what the words were.
Because it's Frank Sinatra's song.
It's supposed to go. It's supposed to, I can't remember the real words anymore. I'm trying to look it up. Anyway.
Message that you wrote it. It was awesome.
The biggest part of it. And it goes, a new earth, new earth. Right now we're here. Right now. Go ahead. You sing it. Go, Sharmony. Go.
Oh my gosh, I really could, but I need you to sing with me, girl. I'm not that good at singing.
I love to sing. I love to sing. I have been working on this. This is one of the problems, or not problems, but things that I've been working to heal, is I love to sing. And everyone that's up until the past few months, everyone that's heard me sing has told me to be quiet. Even my daughter, she walked 5 acres as a toddler to ask me to stop singing because I was ruining her playtime. But yeah, so,
well, now we're the new girl and you're an awesome singer.
So now we're the real words. I'm leaving today. Back to the very start of it. New York. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're here today is how it goes. And then it was like, we are the biggest part of it. We are the biggest part of it. New earth. And this it just kept going. And that's the only, and I didn't, the rest of, and then it would just cycle. and cycle. Just like all messages that come through, usually it's Sandalphon, Archangel Sandalphon brings these for me. Sometimes I'm singing it out loud and don't even know I'm not singing the right words until I'm like, oh, whoa, and then you realize you're supposed to know that. It's always in perfect rhyme. Um, I don't think about it ahead of time. Anyway, this is to show you, whether it validates you or not, this is where we are. We're here now. It was celebrating. The celebration music was happening when I woke up at sunrise. We're here. It's time. And so all we got to do now is realize that we are real eyes. Are these where our real eyes, or is this? Our real eyes is what it feels like to be inside of you, without all the bullshit, without all the have tos, without all of this other stuff. We're leaving behind all these frequencies. And like Sharmony said, including the financial system, all systems are breaking and have been broken and are no longer something that's here. Technically, they've not been here since the 40s. The bullies of the playground have been running the show while the teachers left the freaking ship in the 40s. And so when people start to realize there really is no government, there really is no any of this stuff, that we're making these choices. Did you know that income taxes is a choice that people make? You don't actually have to do it. You don't have to actually do it legally. They'll tell you that you do. There's a whole thing about it. You're welcome to investigate if you feel like it. This is a real world example of a participation choice that we didn't even realize we were doing. The world that we're in is abundant. All things that is needed for you to be 100% happy 100% of the time is 100% available all the time, 100% of the time. And it's just reaching out and taking it, and not stealing, not removing from someone else. It's made available. It comes to us like magnets. And in the frequency of celebration, we forget. We forget about these systems and we participate in our oneness and our soul being. And what is the soul, by the way? The divine masculine is the light, and the divine feminine is the water. And in unity, they are soul. This is what soul is. All things are brought to life by these elements as well. The sun and the water grows the plants. Those types of things. That's one example, but the soul of our soul, that's what they keep telling me. And this water theme has really been amazing to witness. So anyway, thank you for letting me go on for so long. Go ahead. Would you like to say something?
I love it. I'm just absorbing all this. I love it. This momentum that we are both bringing forth creates a ripple, because as we know our true soul self, and I'm saying this for all who listen or on the replay, to anyone who sees this, that is the origin. You're the soul origin for your reality, your experience. Understand, it creates through you. When you leave this physical body, your little bubble disappears, right? So everything you experience, this is why we all have different perspectives and experiences. Even having the same trauma or the same accident, or two neighbors will see the world very different, even though they're right beside each other, same neighborhood, same area, all of that. So realizing, again, the power is you. And when you recognize yourself, and the bigger you gets to come in through unifying, through loving and healing, accepting, feeling everything as it is. Neutrality has been a huge part for me. And it is honestly the eye. It sees everything. It stays in the middle. Otherwise, you're feeding one side or the other. You cannot leave duality if you're still feeding anything, any story, any drama. The real freedom is to work on your mastery, neutralizing, balancing, bringing back to 0 point. No judgment. It's a game. No victim, no victimizer. Everything is from the soul design. We have been the murderer and the murdered. We've been the rapist and the rape. We've been the molester and the molestee. We've done it all. We've been the rich and the poor. This is so that we can expand at the soul level. Not the human doesn't realize all this, but the human is the real hero, the one going through everything. But as you start to elevate your frequency, you get this knowing that you have been everything. and you are all of it, and you're also nothing. You're the 0 point. You're the one watching. And so everything becomes available. And that's the thing, is all these realities exist already. Everything is at once. All is simultaneously occurring at once. There's only time and the density, the grand experiment of separation that we, the heroes, the bravest, strongest masters, agreed to forget, to come in and experience this depth of pain where you can murder and torture and all kinds of things. And so really recognizing that when you know yourself, when you become one with you, nothing outside can falter, create any doubt for you, because you just know you. You know you. You know your pure heart. This is a heart thing. This is not a mind thing. The mind is never going to figure this out. The soul comes through the heart. And when Pamela talked about how powerful the breastplate is, for me, that's where the high heart is. And I just like, wow, that's the portal. That's the portal of our reality, how we project out from within. All that internal energy and chaos gets projected out. But when you become peaceful on the inside, that gets to come out. When you become paradise on the inside, that comes out. When you become magic, because you are magic, it's just covered up by a bunch of stuff and you're remembering. And there's so much support now. That's why everything's so fast, and so much earth energies, cosmic energies, solar energies. Start to turn it around if you're feeling, because I know what that's like. We've all been there. But how about, whoa, I'm getting upgraded. I get more magic and miracles. I love how you brought in the miracles, because I always say magic and miracles together. And so just knowing all realities exist all the time. And I've experienced, and I know we all have this, where you get to go to paradise. You get those feelings. You get those realities. You're there. It's like, oh my God, I know this is real, whether it's in a dream, a vision, in nature, or you're just laying on your bed and all of a sudden it's like, wow, So they all exist right now. It's all available, and the veils are gone. It's up to each one now, as also by design, but when the opening occurs, it's up to you to use your choice. And that is to focus on that and to bring that to life within you, knowing it's there. Like I know, and this is what I really received the other night. My rainbow sparkle world is right there. Now, there's no rushing, okay? Because what's the point? Even though sometimes I'm like, come on, man, let's just like get it over with. But there is a lot of expansion and learning that we experience getting to that point. However, how about if we could do that through joy and play? That's the joy. Like, what if that starts right now? And it does. It does. And so it's here. It's just us recognizing and realizing, as Pamela said, the third eye, realizing, that what I feel, what I know when I let go of all the externals, what other people are saying or showing or speaking of, when I allow my true pure heart, this is a heart thing, and my soul to come through, that is my power. And it is gentle. It is so beyond loving. It is magic. It is light. It is fun. It is silly and goofy, and it is ecstasy and bliss and orgasmic. It's all these things. This is true creation. This is the true way of being. And we are now in that space where we can embody this more and more. And the more of us do it, the more it ripples out and spreads and opens up the others, the other aspects of me, because it's all one in your little game and universe. And when you arrive, you realize that. And then those that agree to be with you at those other levels, they also play with you. It's all perfect. You're not worried about anyone. You're not, because at that level, your gnosis, your peace and calm, your unity is, it's all perfect. And so you're just like, my God, I'm here. This is awesome. So remember that it all exists at once, and it's just a matter of the frequency. And so we do get glimpses and we get experiences, and they're increasing now. I know mine is, and I'm sure I know Mila's is.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the sign. There's so many signs, guys. So, it's go within yourself and start letting that space of you come through, the big you, the true you. And just know there's so much magic. There's only magic and miracles in that place. And that's what we're bringing forth into physical. This is the friggin' incredible thing we're doing and why we are so amazing. I mean, I don't have words for the awesomeness because it doesn't exist. We are beyond. You are the most brilliant, sparkling diamond, rainbow crystal rays and energies and shimmering that exists. Okay, that's really who you are and what you are. And now you get to connect in with that more, and you get to let that come through, and you get to experience that more. It's you. It's within you. It's not anyone or anything out there. So take that time and put it in here. Put it in here. Take care of this, love this, recognize this. Look how far you've come. It's easy to forget when you're being pummeled by energies and you're struggling or things are coming up for clearing. So sit down, take a breath right now. Look how fucking far you've come, because I know you have, because my world has been blown apart and inside out since, for me, 2010, but it started, 30 years ago. And so just this last year, just this last month, look how far you've come. And then when you give yourself that space, you break the beating up, you break the despair cycle, you break the why isn't this changing? Why is it taking so long? I can't take it anymore. I've been there many, many, many times. I carried collective suicidal states, Franco told me, since like 2010. But we all have a lot. We all took on a lot because we can. That speaks to the capacity and the complexity of your soul. The more you carry, it's because you can. And at a soul level, you're like, yeah, I'll take that. Give that one to me. Ooh, that sounds really bad. I'll take it. That sounds so exciting. Bad as in, as tough as it gets.
Yeah.
So just recognize your bravery. You're a hero, and you're fucking the most brilliant crystal, flower, lotus, sparkly, just shiny gemstone and jewel you've ever even seen or dreamt of. Yeah. And really start to recognize you're not this thing. This thing is a beautiful vehicle, this avatar, and this name Sharmony or Mila or whoever, for this incredible journey, to drink the coffee, to feel the sadness, to lose everything, to have a breakdown, to experience love and heartbreak and all of it, childbirth and deaths and everything. Mm-hmm. But you're not this. You're way bigger. We're getting to connect to that big part. And that's why our heads can hurt so much at times, because is a lot happening. But everything can hurt. The low back. I love how Elsa spoke about low back pain in that clip you shared, Mila, on your wall recently. It was like an 8-minute clip. But because I had low back pain for like 30 years. And I'm like, I did have trauma there, but it feels like a chip of bone is broken off and stabbing me, or like, but I have a high pain tolerance. I didn't realize till it got better how excruciating it was, and how much all of us, I feel a lot of us are like that. So just really recognizing how fucking awesome you are. Give yourself a break, man. And more than a break, give yourself a pat on the back.
Right.
And love, and just be like, shit, you're amazing. You're alive. This didn't kill you. Okay, this didn't kill you. Because I know myself, I should have died, and I did. And Mila experienced numerous NDEs, like 9 or 10. So if you're still here, alive in a body, you're fucking awesome. I don't care what you look like, what state of health or finances or any of that bullshit. Okay, you're so powerful. So start tapping into that. Feel that every day. It didn't kill me. I must be amazing. I must be really strong and resilient, incredibly strong and resilient.
Right.
So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to now start accessing ease and flow because I'm doing the work, becoming a master again, remembering and not running away and feeling and just taking that ownership of everything that I as soul created for me as human,
Yeah.
even when it's the worst pain, just this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's true. And you never get more than you can handle on a soul level, even though the human, of course, will feel like, so tortured and so beyond, like, just I can't take this anymore and get me the hell out of here. But those sayings are truth, and
Mm-hmm.
it's time for us to step into our power from within, from your heart. This is not a head. This is not an ego. This is such a deep love that you don't have words for this capacity of love. You are in such, it's like a blossoming. It's like a blooming, it's just like this massive rainbow pillar energy just shooting out of your heart and just beams of love. I used to joke around about love bombing people. I picture like this incredible, just boom, 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 just spears of rainbow, sparkle, diamond, crystal love, being shot at people because it's just, yeah, being, I don't, shot isn't the right word, but whatever,
Yeah.
and
Well,
just know, yeah, just know you're all this and more. And you're beyond beautiful. You're beyond amazing. You are a fucking miracle. You are the miracle. You're everything. You are everything. Let that sit. Let that sit.
so well said. Thank you. And many people are commenting, saying, "Wow, just they love you. You're really resonating with a lot of people." Um, I wanted to add to this victim story we talked about because that's what a lot of what was just talked about. Um, we are no longer in the time of the victim or the victimizer. We're no longer in a place of resonance where a murder or martyr can exist. I know,
Martyr.
yeah, a
Love it.
martyr. Um, the
Soccer.
resonance is you need to be a person needs to live or exist in a place where the victim energy's there. The victim mentality is what we're talking about, as well as, by the way, many people I've heard recently have misinterpreted this a little bit. Um, when we're no longer in the time of the victim or the victimizer, that's also showing you your choice. So we're not saying allow yourself to be have someone accost you in some way. That's you no longer participating in this and able to do so. To be empowered is not to overpower, it's to be in your frequency and your no-ness. You can say no. I've been told countless times throughout this life, people judging the word no as something unloving. Only those who want to overpower or to control will say such things to you. And so that's just something to consider. We're not in the time of being victimized either. We are in a time of being powerful. And so this is the example of what it is that we're doing right now. It's called the breath. Whoa, it's like hovering too. That's kind of cool.
Love it.
Um, where it's the breath in. Okay, so we started out. Can you see my finger? Here we go. I'm delayed, so I can't. Back here in this spot in the places where it's like little teeny, it's hard to do it because I can't see myself live. I'm delayed. Um,
You got it, girl. You got
yeah.
it. It's good
Okay,
right now.
so we
Perfect.
started right there, or we breathed out to there, and now we've been slowly breathing back, and so we're going back to our soul fractals. What is this example of? Here this bubble here, wherever it is, there's this bubble is the first out breath of God, source, whatever you want to call it, and then that doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled. This is an example of a spiral that actually looks like a circle from above, but then if you look at it you can see that it's actually a spiral, and we've spiraled out, and we fractalized and then became embodied and embodied and embodied. And what we're doing right now is so crazy, is that we're is the breath back in. It's the rolling up of the scroll in a reference to what the Bible says. That's what they call it. And as we breathe back in, we're still embodied, but we're going back to our higher selves is an example of that too. And how is that done is just like what Sharmony was so beautifully explained, is that as we move past the frequency of believing that there is something that we have to do, or that it believing in the limitation, and this is limitation too, these eyes are limitation too. Did you know that there's actually uh, cones and rods in our pineal gland? The rods and the cause are what the rods, the cones and the rods are what make the eyes work, make it so you can see. Before we could see blue, we had two cones. And now, before, not too long ago, we had three. And then I started to get messages from the children around that are in tune, that we're now getting a fourth cone. A fourth cone, yeah. The fourth cone is the spectrum.
44, when you said fourth cone. I'm sorry.
Thank you for telling me. That's awesome. Yeah, 144. Woo, woo. Oh my goodness. And so, this fourth cone gives you the spectrum of light of ultraviolet. You can now see ultraviolet. Where we bring in the light in this higher heart place, if you actually pull back, people talk about the seven chakral system. They forget about this one and this one, and so if you look at this higher heart space, this is the center of here and here. This is Christ consciousness, people. This is Christ consciousness. This is joy. This is joy. This is Jesus energy. This is whatever you want to call it. And so, as we have energy and light coming down, we have energy and light coming up, and it meets in this place, this expansion place. And we find that most of the light's actually coming through right here. Well, we're also having activation in what I call the dream chakra, because that's where our soulmate comes into our body, is what the kind of the experience of it in an appendage way. And for me, that I'm not actually getting headaches anymore. What my experience is right now is it actually feels giddy, but it's a pressure up. And it's been happening on and off for a while, since October, but the pressure up, the motion that's moving up, it feels very amazing. And I've gained height. I've gained height. I'm
Me
taller.
too. Oh my
Yeah, our spines, once this thing happens, at first I would have this popping of my spine, and that's why we're talking about this, is that my dad broke my back. And when I was 14, that was when I had this understanding and download about, when I came back then, I found out about that I was coming to the North Ozark Mountains. I didn't know that had anything to do with Arkansas or any of that stuff. I just knew this is where we're going to be. And I needed to be there by my birthday. My birthday is March 27th. And so it's the end of March. And I didn't know I knew that it was going to look like uh, an egg and a sperm. But and that and she is born, he is born, they are born, over like this. And turns out there's actually going to be a comet going along really, really
God.
close to the sun when it's in total eclipse. And so
Wow.
it's a sperm going into the egg, right? Oh, by the way, I just barely saw, like, I got on the computer, I was outside dancing in the sun, got on the computer, getting ready to go live and click on this to be with you, Sharmony. And something popped up. My computer rebooted without, or not rebooted, but they updated without consenting me. It's so annoying when that happens. But it brought up this like news thing, and it said Japan just caught a space rock slamming into the moon, and there's audio or video of it, and it's similar to this idea, but that's a kind of, it goes along because of the sun and the moon. um and then that we were to be here at this moment. So here we are, and we're amping this energy up, and a lot of people are feeling some kind of way about it, because the energy is coming in. It feels different than you're used to. It feels a lot different.
Yes.
The activation that we are on the other side of, technically, I mean, when you talk about it in like the most detailed way, started in August. It started in August. And so what we're doing in completion right now is the end of that cycle. And so you talked about how Franco told you that you're like encouraging higher self and going, your higher self's going, yeah, let's go, let's go. I had a really profound experience of that during this, right before all of that stuff started happening. It was before I had um, told my story on the Sology network, and like the more complete version of my childhood. And right before that, I was doing that, and I was acknowledging myself, trying to say, "Stop! What are you doing? I don't need more healing." Like, because they're like, "Okay, now you're good. Now you're good. You don't have to." I'm like, "Hey, now it's time to ride it out while everybody else is in like tribulation." Then I'm like, "Well, I got a minute. Let's do more." I'm like, "No, I don't." And then there it went. Like, any of you been following me, what happened in September? I was in the void the whole of September. All kinds of weird stuff went down. I ended up going to Texas, and like just weird, and all this healing came up and all this stuff, and we healed this land, and I experienced a metropolitan city for the first time in my life, and I was just abandoned in this spot because I was supposed to. I wouldn't have gone there if I thought that, if I knew what it was going to be like. All of this has to do with the fact that we're doing this breath in. We're recollecting, we're recalling ourselves. I like to visualize as pieces of Play-Doh, and you kind of like take it, and you every step you take, you're becoming more of yourself.
Mm.
And so that's what we're doing right now. And sometimes that moment when you make that collision, it doesn't feel that great. Are you all right?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. I'm breathing, and then just my own little light language quietly was coming out because I'm just
You
feeling
can
it. I
share it if
love
you
it.
like.
What's that, sweetheart?
If you'd like to share it, you're welcome to, but you don't have to.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. It's interesting because it started maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and now it's just natural. Like I don't even realize I'm just breathing with my friend, and then I'm like saying, and I actually do it when I see traumatic things like online. I naturally start because I feel the love and it neutralizes. That's so sweet. For whatever reason, I feel like the light language, of course, everybody's different. And just in this time, as I could not listen to other people's light language.
Mm.
And some was really shrill and really, and then other people loved it. But then it's interesting. Jason Estes said something about he does light language, he keeps it to himself. So because it's meant for him, and it can sometimes distort others. But anyways, so for whatever reason, if it felt right, I would absolutely do it. I feel like just having it quietly there in its
Wonderful.
natural way is just the energies here. So, but thank you so much for asking. I was just so like, as you're talking, I just felt this like, wow, I'm breathing this all in,
Yeah.
and then just a little bit, started to come because that's just what happens. I love how you shared that, Mila. That is, you carry so much incredible information, and you do so much, and you be so much. And then I want to tell you, watching you in September, October, November, December, like right through, um, you are amazing, and you are amazing. I never saw anything weird or crazy. I'm often amazed at how much you are able to hold your capacity and also embody what you do. All these are massive in this density, so much moving, changing, last minute go, just, jumping in as you do and you spoke of. And honestly, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. The ripple, again, the earthquakes, that fire energy of inspiration in
Mhm.
spirit, it's an ignition, what you're doing and how you're being. So just thank you.
Yeah.
I just, as an outsider viewing you, I want you to know nothing looked crazy. It was so inspirational, amazing. And your guts, like your strength, your balls of steel, ovaries of steel are just beyond. Very inspiring because we have to break these old ways of being or being polite or people pleasing. Or I don't want to hurt. I've noticed now in my interactions, I am forced by soul to be truly honest. If something is not right or aligned, I speak it, but there's a neutrality and a love. And it feels so empowering. And then the other person, like even in our conversation, we helped each other.
Yeah.
Or I was feeling some polarity about something. You said, hey, you reminded me the love. And then where you were feeling polarity, and then we both laughed.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We neutralized a lot. And
Yeah.
that's so empowering, guys. That's your power is neutralization. You're a fucking alchemizing machine. Okay, picture yourself as this powerhouse. You're a powerhouse, and all the darkness and all the pain of this planet, all these incarnations, all the separation, all of it is coming in, and you're doing this mastery work, this incredible alchemicalization work. You're transmuting all that back to that which it truly is, pure
Mm.
source love, that divine nature. That's who you are and what you are. See yourself as this, whatever way you want to visualize you, as this brilliant, multifaceted diamond sparkling, but you're taking all the junk, you're taking all the pain, all the yuckies, which is our gift of why we came here, as Mila spoke about, to expand for all, because these get recorded, so nobody has to do this shit again. Thank
Yeah.
you, God. Thank you, Shar. Thank you, Mila. Thank you, each
Yeah.
one of you. That's what we're doing, because it's done and
Yeah.
it's all recorded. And so the worst separation and pain and agony and suffering is done. It's
Yeah.
recorded. We don't have to loop anymore in this shit. And we are empowered now. So you are this incredible, you could see a rainbow light sphere. I don't care how you see it for you, but just recognize what you are. You're a forerunner, you're at the front, you're a first waver or a pre-waver, as Mila pointed out recently. Many of us feel it before it hits others. But it takes incredible soul to be here at the front, and we wanted to at the soul level, even though, like,
Yeah.
I love the experience you shared, Mila, because yeah, that was like, I was like, please, I can't do this anymore. This is crazy. Take me
Yeah.
out, and just start like, take it back, give it back to the family members that I was crazy enough to say, like, oh, I'll take that on. Oh, they don't want to do it, I'll take it. Oh, collective darkness, and most people don't want to do it, I'll take it. Planetary. And Franklin
Mhm.
said that. I said, I'm strong, I can take it. And I'm like, you. And now,
Right.
right? It's so like you have a battle, and there's been times for sure that I was like, I hate you, soul, you mother effing piece of shit. How is that? I felt so alone, and we're talking like a decade and a half. I was just trapped in hell. And so, and all of us, especially, God, what you've gone through, I don't even have words for, Mila. So the fact again that we're alive and we're here, we finally get to a place that we realize, because it gets lighter because of all the work we've done and all of this constant, like, look at Mila, she's an incredible example of just boom, 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 boom. And that's not easy. That's very hard. And yet she made it, and she keeps going, and she's better than ever because she's re-knowing who she really is at her core through all that. She's returning to her God spark, her God essence, her mastery. And so we are amazing. And that's that reminder that it actually can ease, and it will. It will. It's just keep going through it all. If you're not dead and you're still here, it's for a reason. It's for
Yeah.
a reason. And we're in the magical parts now. We really are. When Mila called me, I was already feeling for a few days something big is coming.
Mhm.
And I'd already just had reconciliation within myself that I know myself, and I don't care now anymore what anyone outside of me says. I know me, and I know what I hold, and I know what I came for, because I can't let this thing go even if I try. And if I try to fit in and squeeze into the limited, I feel repulsive. Like I can't do it. I can't compromise my own integrity anymore. And that brings you to a certain level of strength of knowing yourself, that know thyself. It really is about that. And then you can actually accept all the parts of you, these role players, and thank them, because they triggered you into, you had to get to know you. Just
Right.
like you had to realize you have a choice. You went years and years of not knowing you had a choice, as Elsa and you discussed on that call, because we were blocked. It was by design. We didn't know we had a choice. We were at a certain level of awareness, and we had to suffer and go through, because that's what we came for, is to know what that's like. And as the bigger me, it makes sense. You see the beauty, you see the play, and you have such reverence and honor. And I don't even have words, just deep depth of gratitude and compassion for the human, for you, all of you, what you go through, what you've been through. I mean, this shit is not for the weak. It's a very incredible being and soul that takes
Yeah.
this on and goes through this. And so the good stuff, guys, the good stuff is here. And
Yes.
we are finally able to access it. And we're finally in that place where we can grow through joy and play and fun. And so let's keep going, because each one has their own unique, beautiful soul design and journey. Do not compare yourself ever. Just know you're fucking special. Everyone is, or you wouldn't be here. And we're all equal, and we all hold a beautiful jewel and gemstone inside of us. We are that. You are it.
Yeah.
And just keep reminding yourself. Watch this video, clip parts that you need, and just when you're having a bad day or shitty moment, put it on and be like, yes. Because
Yeah.
even I need reminders. We all do. And I loved how Elsa shared that she goes back and watches her videos, because I was like, shit, I have that experience too. When I'm down, like now I know. I didn't know for a long time, but I only started doing videos in August. And so I go back and I'm like, oh man, thank God I have these recordings so I can remember, because I'm like, that's real. That's integritous. I'm not making stuff up. We're not making anything up. This is fucking real. This is the realness. Okay. That upside down world, that matrix, as Mila pointed out, and Franco said this years ago too, it's all upside down backwards. It's all opposite.
Yeah.
So know that the real world is what you feel in your pure heart. That joy, what you can call a fantasy, a dream, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. And now is our time. Now is our time. Billions and billions of years went into this moment now. I remember Jason Estes sharing something about over 40 billion years. What we are doing has never been done. We blew ourselves up.
That's
We
right.
destroyed the planet multiple times, trying to get to this level of being able to hold these energies and these physicalities. And we finally fucking did it. We
Who said
passed
that?
Jason Estes.
He's right. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, he calls it the master line. It doesn't really matter. He talks about data points, which are just his way of measuring energies. But the master line was achieved, I think, end of November, ahead of schedule, as you've talked about. But he said we've never made it to this. And that's the intensity compounded, because we are at such a high frequency. And now the bursts of energies hit us harder. But hey, man, we were made for this. You
Yeah, I
were
did.
built for this, or you'd be dead. You were built for this. You were made for this. Your constitution, your strength. Obviously, we don't know how strong we are until we got to go through the shit
Yeah.
and the deepest, hardest, agonizing stuff, right? So remember that.
Yeah.
Remember who you are. I've heard someone very high level, her name is Linda McGillis Good, and she's not an emotional person. She became emotional in an interview where she spoke about the human is the glory. The
Yeah.
human is the glory. And that my heart just blew open. I knew that truth. She said, as a galactic walk in, she can share that everybody is watching. Everybody is watching, and we are the glory. She had tears in her eyes, and she is not an emotional person.
Yeah.
So I want you to remember that. I want you to know that.
It's true. It's very true. And if I took that topic and went with it, we'd be on for a lot longer. I have to do dinner soon. But
Absolutely. I was just looking.
I was, for you to go on to that, what you just spoke of, and is the best way to close this conversation is that compassion of self, that compassion, being gentle with yourself, for yourself. All others around us, we tend to give this to, and self needs this as well. Be compassionate with yourself, knowing that, you know, when things aren't easy, it doesn't always feel pretty. And it didn't feel pretty when I was doing it. I'm surprised to hear, and I'm happy to hear that it didn't look like as much of a mess as it felt like. And the
It was
thing is that we're all going to be doing this, and to self judge is limiting too. So give yourself that same love that you would afford anyone else, and then give in a little bit more, because she and he are the ones that need it the most right now. It starts from inside. So if you really do want to share out, I find that people try to share from an empty cup, and there's nothing to feed from. And so filling up yourself, taking that time that you need, allowing yourself, whatever it is. There's a lot of shouting, a lot of loud energy that needs to come out of people right now. If that's in song, if that's, doing something else, beating up old cars in a rec yard, whatever it is, let it
fun.
out. Let it out so you can then move on to this next beautiful thing. Tomorrow is the 111 portal here on this side of the hemisphere. And Odin's day, this is Thor's day, this is new moon, this is a lot of other things are coming in this day for everyone. And in honoring of this date, Stacy and I are going to be going live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you can do your math for that, for your time zone, that would be great. I'm not that versed. So please join me for that. And then also on Friday, we will have the group Zoom at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So anyone who wants to join that free group Zoom that's not recorded or aired, you're welcome to join that. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sharmony. I really enjoyed this conversation. This has been so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. I just want to point out when you said tomorrow, it was 2:04:44 on the recording. It was full of fours. And
There's the fours again.
Mila, I just have to say on behalf of all of us, a fucking huge thank you. A huge thank you. I don't have words for how much you do. Like today, me, Elsa, 2 days ago, you come on your own on Sunday, now Friday, the call that you do, the Zoom. Stacy tomorrow. I mean, you're a machine, girl. You're fucking awesome. So just, I know we all wouldn't be here again without you in terms of our connection, all of this. So thank you. And what you share and all you go through and endure is amazing. So I just want to say this is, she never asks for anything. Mila never does. But if you are moved in any way, shape, or form, her donation link, PayPal is there. Mila does so much, just, out of her own pocket and just for free for everyone. So if you feel it in your heart, these are the new energies, everything is going to be free soon. I really feel that. I'm like, no need for passports. This is what I know in me. So know thyself. And let's do this, guys.
Let's
Let's
do
do it.
this thing.
Let's do this thing. And then we can
Sometimes
practice.
if you're not in the shift, you're in the shit. I heard that today. You know what? Choose. You get to choose. You shift or you shit, right? I mean, that's not what I
Come
meant.
join us. Come join us because we're all one. We're all one. And we're all here now. We're all here now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And to answer this question, I see that Maria has provided Sharmony's link to her YouTube channel, though I would let you
Thank
all know I
you.
tried to actually put it in the title, and you can't do it until it's post-production. So in an hour, once it's done doing its, then I'll put in a link to her channel from this
Yeah.
video, so you can find her. She also is on YouTube, or it's also on Facebook. It's got some cool, awesome stuff that comes through. So thank you for asking. So I remember to say that. I will be posting that, like I said, within an hour or so. So if you can't
Thank
find it
you.
through Maria, Diamond Heart 888 at ZK, I think she has written there. So yes,
Yes,
thank you so
Diamond
much.
Heart 888. That's the name, Soul Guided. And so, yes, easy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I love you.
I love you and I love all of you. And so does Mila. We're all one. Thank you.
All one. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah.
All blessings.
Happy New